everybody, it's Mary back with another reading for you. This one's gonna be about Gypsy and Ken, and possibly we'll see if Baby Aurora shows up. I just got a very strong message about Ken, that he'll be lucky to escape with his sanity from Gypsy. She treats Ken almost the way Dee Dee treated Gypsy's father. Okay, Gypsy, I wouldn't be surprised if off camera, like when Ken goes live, or when the camera's on Ken but not on Gypsy, she has a gun pointed at his head, or the equivalent of a gun pointed to his head. Basically, that being, I will take your baby away from you forever. Because Ken knows everything about Gypsy. And she is way more complicit in the alleged murder of her mother than the average person knows. I don't even know who would know, other than I'm quite sure that Gypsy's cellmates, Nicholas, let's not forget about Dan, Gypsy's initial first boyfriend, that didn't last very long, but Dan had a big role in Gypsy's life. He came back. But I'll read about Dan maybe now, maybe some other time. But yeah, like, I'm seriously concerned for Ken, even though I read the other day myself, I did the reading, that he's going to escape from Gypsy and have a good life. But man, the way she controls him and what he knows, Ryan knows, Ken knows, Nick knows, Dee Dee knows, but she can't speak well, she can actually speak, and she has spoken. I have heard her, what she says. And Nicholas knows. They all know the truth. And Gypsy uses that as a weapon, and she uses dark magic. I don't want to give Wiccans a bad name, but she's performed, here, let's put it this way, air quote, Wiccan spells on Nicholas. I wouldn't doubt that. It's like, I don't like to speak this way about Dee Dee, but it's like Gypsy learned from Mom. And she's using the same tactics with Ken. I suspect that she will take Baby Aurora away from him for the rest of his life. If she could get Nicholas locked up forever, and she did with her testimony and whatever she put in his head, she's done the same thing with Ken and Ryan. The only difference between Ken, Ryan, and Nicholas, and let's not forget Dan, is that Ken walked away from Gypsy. They were dating each other while she was in jail, and supposedly were going to get married, and then he just left. And I think it was the lure of fame and money that brought him back. So we're gonna read about Gypsy and Ken right now. What does Ken really know? Is Gypsy holding him hostage? Is she using Baby Aurora as like a bargaining chip, like you'll never see your child again? Just like Claudinia Dee Dee did that to Gypsy's dad. Paint Ken as an evil monster the way she did about Nicholas. So let's see. I could just ask them yes/no questions, but no. We'll do Ken's tarot. I like this deck for Ken. It worked for him before. It spoke for him before. We've got a deck for Gypsy. We've got some Gypsy cards. These are actual Gypsy cards. Some soul cards. Let's see what's going on in their souls. And the tea leaves are brutally honest. So, okay. So let's do this. Okay, so I want to know, just generally, what's going on with Ken? What is going on with Ken? Is Ken scared of Gypsy? Well, okay, my fingers touched that. Is Ken scared of Gypsy at all, or do they fight? Is he ready to walk away? What is going on with Ken. Put these out of the way just for now. We'll put Gypsy's deck over here for now. And let's see. Oh, we have the 10 of Cups. We have the Page of Pentacles, or Wheels in this deck. We have the Knight of Cups. Oh, this is sounding familiar all of a sudden. And we have Justice. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so basically what's going on with Ken, from Ken's point of view, is that he does have this illusion of a happy family. But let me call your attention to this deck. See how she's not looking at him? Sorry for the glare there. The wife is not looking at the husband. There is a lot of prosperity in their life. I mean, look at us right here talking about it and videotaping it, and I'm doing readings on it and stuff. So I'm trying to channel, actually. The only person I've ever successfully channeled in this particular case has been Dee Dee. Although I'm hearing a baby cry. I don't know if I could channel Aurora, like her Aurora's angels, you know. I don't usually ask to do that. Usually if people or energy come to me, you know, beings come to me, energy comes to me, whether they are on this side of the veil or the other side, you know, I will talk with them then. But, so now I'm hearing a baby cry like in an echo chamber. That's pretty disturbing. Yeah. So, okay, apparently Baby Aurora is real. And Ken wants to believe this. Look at all the prosperity. The good times, the happy times, the cards and everything. He sees this as a beginning part of his life. I think Aurora will be a year old next month. So he sees this, but he sees it from more like a money-making, prosperous point of view. He's thinking about new beginnings too. How to prosper. It's coming to me. I'm hearing I see him sitting in a room actually, and he has like, not a dream board, he has a laptop, and he's making like a website or something for himself. He's thinking of ways to make money. They're low on money, and God knows, God does know, that Gypsy likes having money, you know. I believe when she and Nick made their escape after Nicholas allegedly killed Dee Dee, murdered Dee Dee, you see, because I don't believe Nicholas fully killed Dee Dee. So anyway, when Ken is making plans. So, but I don't know, that thought just flew out of my head what I was saying about Nicholas. But yeah, also I see that there might be like I have suggested several times that Gypsy is drinking or maybe using non-prescribed medications right now. She can't handle the money. Oh right, that's what I was saying. When her and Nick, you know, made their great escape, she wouldn't let Nick touch the money hardly at all. That she had her mother's egg nest of money. So what Gypsy thinks is, you know, having little money, she could have like $1 million and think she's broke, you know. So it's a distorted view, you know. Let me also call your attention to the cat here. There is very rarely ever a cat in the 10 of Cups, ever. You know, this is like her familiar. She is absolutely using black magic on Ken, and he is complicit to a degree. He's in it for the money. He's in it because before he met Gypsy, he was kind of free floating. He's just a bartender. I mean, hey, I was a bartender at a, you know, club in East Village and stuff. It was one of my favorite jobs. But I was also only 20 years old, so it was like, it wasn't my future, you know, my whole future. Ken is like, what, in his 30s, and I don't know, like, that's the only job he has listed on his resume, I believe. He's a bartender. There's nothing wrong with being a bartender. It's just like, no, he's envisioning much bigger plans for himself. He thinks about riding on Gypsy. He does think about it. And that is what I'm saying. Like, you know, he saw himself as well as some, because Gypsy, she tells so many lies, you know, and she makes these men feel that they're her knight in shining armor. They really believe this, you know, and I just heard it. She put spells on them to believe this, and justice is coming. So good for Ken that he had absolutely no role in the death of Gypsy's mom. But, you know, like, justice is coming because he's deluded. Ken is still deluded. If he wasn't deluded, he'd leave her by now. He's done it before. He could do it again. He could easily get custody of Aurora, because I don't think he's the one that's pulling the strings. That's what I'm saying. Like, Gypsy's like off camera, like, you know, with a gun to his head almost, you know. You can hear her voice. She's like, no, start it again, you know, and he'll do it, you know, and then she's like, no, from this point, and she said, it's all nice and sweet. She doesn't even say his name. She's just like, yeah, do it from there. And then he does it. I mean, I don't know if she still uses her Minnie Mouse voice, but yeah, she's in charge, you know. And I think Ken stays in the situation because he does see himself as like this good guy, this guy who's a dad, this guy who has the happy family life. You know, there is only one child, even though I think she announced that she was pregnant, and yet at the same time, nothing further has been said about it. Gypsy's been quiet lately. But I heard about Nicholas, you know, for the rest of his life, he cannot appeal. I don't know, maybe he could probably appeal in a certain amount of years, but he's just lost his last appeal in the process that he began to his case be heard once again. So let's see what's going on with Gypsy, specifically with Ken. If Baby Aurora wants to come into this reading, awesome. Spirit guides. Whoa, I feel them coming in. Oh, I'm getting all tingly. And yeah, here, we'll do one shadow card, 2, 3, and there's hiding in there. She likes to hide. So yeah, so who won't any information about Baby Aurora, but because I really do think that's Gypsy's bargaining chip. That's her loaded gun, the baby. So oh my goodness, look at this. I don't know. You might know how old I am now when I say, you know, look at that bunny suit. And this is the 8 of Swords. So someone is trapped. Someone has let themselves get trapped. Now, Gypsy has herself locked into an image. And basically that image is like, yeah, I killed my mom, but I reclaimed my power. Yeah, you better believe she reclaims her power. And, you know, like, let's look at that up there. Sword. First card ever, Gypsy, is the 8 of Swords. And she's holding a baby bunny. She's in a bunny suit. And she looks like a frightened little child, you know. But she's got that shifty sideway look. Okay? I love this deck for Gypsy. I just love it. Look at this. My goodness. The 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, she's put a lot of work. She's put a lot of work into keeping these men hostage, and possibly the baby. We have the 3 of Swords, heartache, stabbed in the heart, literally like stabbed in the heart. And we have the 4 of Cups, like apathy, like I don't care, get away from me. I'm living my best life, even if she's not. You know, this figure. Sorry with the glare there. I just want you to see this. She's crying, but she I mean, I have no doubt that Gypsy does miss her mom sometimes, and that she felt love for her mother, but you know, her desire to get away from her mother was greater than her love for her mother. And there's a really sick streak in Gypsy. She's like Charles Manson. She gets people to kill for her. You know, she doesn't even have to put them on acid and take them out into the desert and train them, you know, and condition their minds. You know, she just uses sex and love. See, the 3 of swords. It's like, how many swords are coming out on Gypsy's side here? You know, look at this. And the butterfly is pinned. And I'm feeling very strongly that this is Aurora, actually. An exhibit that can't fully be seen. And this is more like Gypsy. Yeah, it's like she almost looks like a spider. Oh, what a tangled web we weave, right? And it is the 7 of Pentacles, which is, you know, she's put in a lot of work into scaring other people. She's scared of this relationship. She's scared of Ken even asking her to marry her. She would say yes because that's, you know, the right thing to say in her mind. But she's actually scared. She doesn't want to really get married. Not to Ken. Not to... Maybe Ryan. She seems to have more control over Ryan. I hear Ken actually goes away on fishing trips and stuff. He is not always at her side. That Gypsy made a video of her ironing and doing laundry and stuff like that. Like as a, look at me being at home, taking care of my baby while my man is out fishing. But really it was like, you bastard, you're, I don't know if I can say that, but like, you mean guy, you know, you mean father of my child. You don't want to take care of the baby and I'm left at home while you're out fishing and having fun, you know? It's like, no, Ken has the ability to walk away. Gypsy has put a lot of effort into this. So as Ken makes plans perhaps, or thinks about getting out of this situation somehow, whether he goes to the courts, family court, to take the baby back, or whether justice just steps in, we'll find out about that in a moment, because there's always a divine justice, you know. But Gypsy has put a lot, she has invested a lot into this image in Ken's head. Happy family, happily ever after. Don't look at the cat. Don't look at the familiar. Don't look at that. We're Christian, remember? Look at all this golden stuff, right? Like she tells him this, you know, like, I don't know, I'm hearing the line of God. She uses that Christian line when she'll use dark magic. She will use spells whenever it's convenient. Gypsy is a master manipulator. Look. And she's willing to sit back and wait and be patient. So Ken makes these small attempts at independence or different whatchamacallit, like careers or professions, you know. Gypsy's like, I'm just gonna be a stay-at-home artist, leave me alone. And then she's like gonna go on social media and talk about it all the time, and then have Ken defend her on social media, no less. So let's see what's around Ken. Size. So Ken, even though it's a woman, we have size. So someone sighs a lot. We have the rose on the ground dead. And look, ultimately Gypsy is so, she doesn't care. She's in her own little world. Her little pretty little snow globe. Like Ariel, Princess Ariel, Little Mermaid. Like Princess Ariel in the Disney movie. This is Gypsy. And she doesn't care who she has to stab in the heart. Whether it's literally or figuratively. She'll do it. And she'll get it done. Meanwhile, Ken's deluded. Not so much, though. Not as much as Ryan and poor Nicholas. But justice is on Ken's side. Also, he is a Libra. So, wow. Ooh, misfortune. This is not looking good for Ken. Misfortune. Okay, it's like the Tower card, which we don't have control over. Tower moments, usually. Okay, we've got Sue. Oh, look at this. Hello. I'm not so surprised to see you. We'll just take them this way because they felt like this. So, we have Sweetheart and an enemy. Yeah. Okay, this is what's going on. Ken has a sweetheart, and it's not Gypsy. He's making plans to leave. He will go to family court if necessary. Gypsy, on the other hand, is going to... Gypsy is his enemy. She's going to enlist Ryan on her side to help her. And if she's using dark magic, and she will appeal right now, how she holds on to Ken until her plan with Ryan is manifested is, you know, she pretends to care about Ken. She pretends to care about the baby. Although maybe she does, I don't know, because like I said, it's a lot like history repeating itself. Although Gypsy shows you how manipulative and clever she is, for her to use the same exact strategy as her mom did, malingering, wouldn't work this time around. But using, just not using like clay, you know, like just molding it just a little differently. And Gypsy is doing the same thing that Dee Dee did with her father, Rod. She will definitely kick Ken to the curb and burn down his world, even though she doesn't know. She doesn't know that he is already making plans for prosperity and stability. And yeah, right now it's kind of with her. He's kind of wishy-washy about it. He is true about love. You know, if he loves someone, he loves them. And he might not be all good with sweet words and flowers and candy and things like that, or whatever romantics get. But you know, it's fine. Ken is justice. He's a Libra, and this is a major arcana, so it's like hardcore coming in. And there's an enemy, and like let's say I'm gonna say that Gypsy pretends with sighs to care about Ken, like, you're never home. Yeah, that kind of acting. And it's Gypsy who's gonna set this fire. Gypsy's gonna set the fire, because she's gonna go berserk. I already see her. I've said this in a couple of readings now. She has fits of rage where she just screams. I'm seeing her right now. She sticks a towel or a washcloth in her mouth, and she just screams, like in the bathroom with the door shut. And she is the one that's gonna light the fire. All right, Ken, he may have, you know, it's like this is a new beginning. He's a knight in shining armor. He's already has his eye on somebody else. You know, Ken does have pride. When Gypsy gives him orders off camera, that is when I see Ken's face turn red. You know, that's when. So let's see the state of Ken's soul is gratitude. I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents, right? I'm sure he is. He's profiting off this relationship with Gypsy. So, you know. But I also believe that Ken is, you know, like from the last reading, he's doing work on himself. And if you put this way, that looks a lot like an eye. And I think he is going to end up doing something with like holistic health and, you know, like the third eye and meditation and that kind of lifestyle, you know. So I think Ken is going to realize just how grateful he really is. He's getting out. He's going to be with someone else, which is going to hurt Gypsy's heart. She is the heartbreaker, but it's going to hurt her too. She's going to get hurt too, but she won't show it. She's going to act all cash, and she's not going to show it. And, you know, her spidery little plans are going to come to fruition. And meanwhile, what's going on with Aurora? So let's see the state of Gypsy's soul right now. Let's see what's going on in Gypsy's soul. What's she planning? What's she thinking? What's Gypsy thinking about? Especially with Ken and Ryan and Baby Aurora. We'll do Nicholas another time because he just got denied. So he's going to be in jail for a while. And he's not accepting the help that he should be accepting. I mean, there are women out there who actually like Nick. he could get himself a jailhouse bride. And, you know, he just, this card is calling. So, acceptance. Oh, and you know, that was on the bottom of the deck as well. So, before I started shuffling. So, yeah, acceptance. I am learning to accept the things that I cannot change. Yeah, Gypsy's drinking, for sure. Gypsy's probably going to have to go into rehab or AA or, yeah, for recovery. She's going to get busted. She's going to get busted. Enemy. You know, sometimes the people that you think are closest to you are your enemies, right? Keep your enemies close, right? Gypsy is her own worst enemy, actually. She'll see Ken as an enemy, and absolutely this woman, whoever she is, I believe it would be Ken's, Ken has his eye on someone else already right now as we speak. But Gypsy, she is not learning to accept the things she cannot change. She is changing people, you know. But I can't explain this really. But yeah, she's either drinking or misusing medication or numbing herself in some way. And she's gonna want to eventually get to some kind of rehab or AA or detox, you know. You know, the serenity prayer. It's like the prayer of AA, and this is just like a foreshadowing. I mean, look how numb she is. Look how numb. She's supposed to be happy being Ariel, her favorite Disney princess. I think Ariel, or she compared herself to Ariel because Ariel couldn't walk. She's a mermaid, right? And here she is. Here's Gypsy. This is what Gypsy's soul. This is the soul card for Gypsy. Still dreaming about, you know, this fish could be its fins, but really it looks like wings, right? She's still dreaming. You know, she still has these dreams, but inside she's dead. You know, even getting stabbed in the heart, you know, even her eyes are closed to that. She can't imagine that somebody would do that to her. So she'll act like it doesn't hurt, you know, and keep making her plans. Well, Baby Aurora is like in the background somewhere, gonna be exploited somehow. I don't know, that's just what I'm being told. As I often say, please don't get mad at me, I'm just the messenger here. So let's put these over here for now, and let's see, because I can't see Gypsy right now. I know I said in a previous video that she might have an epiphany and you know, like go straight. Wow, that card's sticking out. So, you know, it's just that, oh, that just flipped over. So, she's, it seems as if she's, right now, that is not the path. She's apathetic. She just doesn't feel much of anything. She put her plans in motion. She's sitting back and she's just, right now, she's just watching to see what happens. So we've got some tea leaves here. And we've got 4 that jumped out. 5 tea leaves jumped out. The tea leaves can be brutal. So let's just put them out and we'll see, like, you know, who they probably, oh my goodness, we have 6. All right, let's make this puzzle. Okay, we have camel. Perseverance and you will overcome problems, right? And this would be Ken's cards that came out actually, but you are highly thought of. So yeah, people are starting to see Ken, you know, and this is nice, right over the Page of Pentacles. People are starting to see him as not this loser type or, you know, leech that just lived off of Gypsy. He is starting to confront her about talking to Ryan, you know. So Ram, a stubborn, aggressive person. And I don't necessarily think Ken is stubborn, but, you know, I do think that he, in this situation, would be aggressive to get out of this relationship with Gypsy. You know, justice, family, court, you know, you gotta be aggressive in court if you want to win. He can't exactly appear that way, so he's he may be aggressive, but he's not going to be, it's not going to be looked down on. In fact, I just saw it now. It's like a whole stadium, like at a football stadium or a sporting event, and they all stood up and just cheered for Ken, like, yeah, you left her, yes. Like, he's the only one who walked away from Gypsy, much like Rod, you know, walked away from Christy and Gypsy's stepsister. I forget her name right now, but he took off to Maine. He was like, I'm out of this insanity. Like, I got work to do. I'm going up north. And like when Gypsy started seeing Ken again. So as I say this, I flip over the tea leaves for Gypsy, and what do we have? Tree, affairs with your family. Yeah, these are like almost like generational curses that she's got going on, but you know, I think she cursed herself with her actions. It's called karma. A hat, you will be playing a different role. Of course Gypsy will be playing a different role. Check her out. Little spider self with all her different webs she's weaving. Of course she has a different role she's going to play. She's going to be Ryan's woman for a little while until she can get to the next man, okay? And archway, nice. Nice, excuse me, new opportunities, possibilities, and paths opening up now. I will give that to Gypsy. Absolutely. Because she is looking for new opportunities, possibilities, and paths opening up to help her. She's going to use the baby. I'm a single mother. And she's going to make her plans. I can see it right now. She's signing a contract. And she's using that deferential voice that she does, like, I'm telling you, whatever. Yeah, she's gonna sign another contract for, you know, life after Ken. You know, not life after lockup, but life after Ken. Yeah, she always is looking for new opportunities. Like, Gypsy doesn't seem to know how to be satisfied with stability. So, you know, when is this stuff going to happen? We can ask that as well. We have the months of the year. So when is this stuff going to start to happen? When is Ken going to start to put his foot down and take some more control? Not necessarily of Gypsy. He's going to be leaving her for another woman, or just leaving and then meeting. But I think Ken has his eye on someone else already right now. And he's like in the gushy love feeling stage, but he worries about it. But he is determined. He's clear thinking. He knows what's just and what's right. And I think he is going to be very proactive. You know, the ram isn't just a stubborn, aggressive person. It's someone who takes action. The ram is usually associated with Aries, you know, and that can be war, but court is also like a war, you know, and social media wars go on all the time, but it doesn't even have to be that dramatic. It just means that, you know, you're in touch with your more aggressive energy, and you take action in a more not in such a soft, sneaky way. Seemingly pretty until you really look at the situation, you know. Whereas Gypsy already has affairs with her family. She has a baby. Okay, I'm gonna say at this point she has a baby, because if she's not, if you want to check out my first reading on Gypsy, I said that she's pregnant or soon will be, and I'm almost positive, I could be wrong, that she did come out with an announcement that she is pregnant, or that they're trying for baby number 2 for a little brother for Aurora. So basically, she definitely has affairs with her own family, but there's still unspoken things going on between her and her stepmother and sister and her dad. Like, if her dad took off to Maine, that's not too cool, you know. That's not great. I'm not saying it's not too cool on Rod's part. I think Rod did the right thing by getting away from the insanity. But, yeah, like, she may not go right to Ryan. She might go to her family or just be on her own for a while. I really hear her pulling that whole I'm a single mother bit, you know. And just like Dee Dee, oh my gosh, she's so happy. She's, oh my goodness, I see her dancing. She's literally dancing. Dee Dee is dancing right now as I say that Gypsy's going to be a single mom. She's going to play the single mom card. That's what she's going to do. And she'll have a new role. A single mom. And, you know, she'll get support from her family. And, you know, and she's going to look again, you know, like, who's my next victim? So, meanwhile, this is who she is inside. And the sweetheart belongs to Ken. The enemy, I think, I'm really getting Ryan is going to be really upset about this. And it's like, why? Ken will be gone. I think Ryan is going to fight and say that, like, Aurora is his. And this is definitely going to blow up. You know, this is, you know, Gypsy lights fires. You know, sometimes there's small campfires and sometimes they'll burn down houses, you know. Sometimes they'll lead to the murder of her mother. So when can we expect to see some of this unfold, that Ken will be getting away from Gypsy and Gypsy will be moving on to her next victim, who is most likely Ryan, or she also has, I don't think she has anybody picked out right now. She has, at this point, she probably has high standards. She'll use whomever, but so I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to pick one of these cards. So we'll see when this is supposed to happen. Okay. Oh my goodness, by next October. Wow. That's a long time to wait. Wow. Also, Ken is a Libra. His birthday is October 1st. So I'm going to say Ken will still be in her life by his next birthday, but he'll be leaving her shortly thereafter. I'm hearing 1 year, not literally because it is 1 year, but no, I'm hearing 1 year, like an echo over and over again, like in 1 year. In 1 year. And this is good for Ken too, because, you know, it's October is typically the month of Libra. Also Scorpio as well. So, you know, Scorpio is the house, the 8th house of sexuality, but also of being able to, you know, if you have the courage and strength to do this, to face the dark and the light. You know, Scorpios are master transmutators of energy from dark to light and light to dark, depending on, you know, what your intentions are, what you want. And so a person can become a master at that. And I already said this so many times, I'm just repeating myself about Ken becoming like some sort of like Reiki master, something with energy work. I mean, look at all this light coming out of his sword. Ken is going to be like this warrior. When is this going to like come together for him? By next year. What, next October, you know? So let's see if we have a parting message from the angels. You know, like this is like hot tea, you know. So let's see if we have, because like look at, I forgot about Aurora over here for a second. She just left my consciousness altogether, and that's exactly how Gypsy likes it, you know. She doesn't like having to get up every day, same thing, feeling like Groundhog Day with a baby, you know, until Aurora starts to talk or whatever it is, you know, the next phase of Aurora's development. Aurora's the innocent victim. Aurora's the scared bunny over here. Actually, this bunny isn't scared yet. Little baby bunny, totally trusting, knows what's going on, looking in the camera, looking at us, right, looking straight ahead. It's Gypsy who's looking sideways. She's afraid. She is afraid Ken will leave her. You think if Ken's looking at another woman that she won't know or find out? Absolutely, she'll find out. In fact, that ram might not just be Ken. It could be the woman that he ultimately decides to go with, and she's not going to stand for this crap. You know, she's not, Ken's next love is not going to be well liked, and that's fine. And so we have a happy message from the angels. This card literally fell out. So this is 0, the dreamer, otherwise known as the Fool card, and it is a leap of faith, follow your dreams, unexpected opportunities, which we have right here as well. New opportunities, right? For Gypsy, who knows what that will be. You can use your own imagination at this point. And again, for Ken as well, it's a whole new beginning for him. But in his case, I laid it out in the other reading, Ken versus Ryan, the last reading I did. And I mean, look at this. This is so nice for Ken. You know, he's got a dog. Okay, so now this isn't Ryan with the dog anymore. Ken. Ken's got a spirit animal, and you know, he's got more. He's got angels. Look at all this light over here, bits of light. And I'm getting a feeling too, this Aurora, and that little butterfly, he's still gonna, just like Rod try to take care of Gypsy, try to be in her life, and Dee Dee kind of snatched Gypsy out of Rod's life. Ken will be there for his daughter. And this story is gonna be so magical. I mean, we've got a unicorn right here, a green unicorn, which is really nice actually, because it shows the heart chakra, and that it will be healed. Magic, it'll be like magic, you know, like Gypsy is using dark magic. So this card goes well for both Gypsy and Ken. Ken is not using magic. Magic is happening to him. And all he has to do is step. You see this? It's almost like a portal, or almost like the world card too. You know, all he has to do is step through this. And look, there's a knife-like figure here, right here. I don't know if you can see it because the glare, it's annoying me. But once I start reading, I can't stop the video. Yeah, it's like he's avoiding that knife. Look, why would a knife be here, by the way? I don't know why they would include this, but you know, and yeah, somebody's watching over him. Someone's watching over Ken. Someone is also watching over Baby Aurora, too. You know, I think it's going to be okay for Ken and Aurora. I think Gypsy's the one who's going to, I mean, cause all the drama that's going to happen, if it happens in the baby's life. We can check in on Baby Aurora. I could do a reading just for Aurora, you know. So these changes should start taking effect hardcore. Yeah, I'm really seeing like a series happening next autumn, coming out. Ken will be in it, you know, him leaving Gypsy, and Ryan will step back into that role. Most likely Gypsy's family will come back out, maybe not Rod, because he seems to also be filled with justice and fairness and common sense that he follows. But there's enough drama to make another series. So yeah. And ironically, I just glanced at the gratitude card again. Yeah, Ken's gonna be feeling grateful in a weird, like, hindsight way, like looking at it in hindsight, like I got away from Gypsy and that insanity. But also in a really sick way, Gypsy, Christy, and anybody who can profit off of this situation, like Gypsy's friend Bree, I think her friend's name is Bree. Everybody's grateful for this you know, this story, this I don't want to say insanity, but it's just like, it's so much drama. Ugh. And it's not always, you know, it's negative. There's a baby involved, you know, there's a man's heart involved, you know, and that's true dark magic. That's true. When you screw around with someone else's willpower and you take their will away from them, that is one of the most evil things you can do to somebody without actually killing them. You're basically enslaving them and turning them into like a robot, you know, and that's really that's awful. And so I feel like Ken is going to be feeling very grateful in hindsight, but he's got to go through the fire first. Didn't Dee say that? She got it from her mom, or Dee said it, Dee said it, and then I think Mel, the neighbor, said it in the show The Act. You have to go through the fire to get out of the fire. You got to go through the fire. Yeah, so this is what Gypsy has learned too, because I think Mel said that to Gypsy as well. Sometimes you got to go through it to get out of it. Gypsy will certainly light a fire thinking, oh, I can get through this, you know, and she probably can manipulate her way, you know, through it into a more profitable situation for herself. I don't see any other babies here either, or other children. I don't, for Ken, yes, I don't see any love, affection, anything like that. I see a frustrated person sighing all the time, not enough, not good enough. I mean, yes, we have the family card, but she's wearing, I know it's a 10 of cups, but, you know, I see alcoholism here. And the prosperity above them, the abundance, like, they don't even notice it, you know. Yes, both parents are looking at the baby, but the baby doesn't also have to just be Aurora. It could also be whatever plans and projects that they work on. So it could be, you know, it could be the TV show. I'm almost positive they're going to give her another season or two on whatever channel she was on. I never watched Life After Lockup, really. I think I watched maybe a couple episodes and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with this insanity. I'll just catch up on it later. So, but that cat there is really getting to me. I've yet to see a deck, a different tarot deck, that has a cat in the 10 of Cups. And that cat is creepy. Look at its eyes. It's like zombified. That's Gypsy's soul. That's her familiar. Okay? Oh my goodness, even look at the shoes. They almost look like cloven hooves, you know? That's Ken and Gypsy and Baby Aurora right now. And whatever their next project is. We have a pretty good idea of what Ken's next project is, which is get the heck away from Gypsy and hold on to his daughter. But Gypsy, she's not looking at the father at all. She's just looking at Aurora, and I just heard the words in my head, cash cow. She sees Aurora as a cash cow. Yeah, so that's the tea. That's what's going on with Gypsy and Ken right now. So, since nothing hardcore, like a whole new start, isn't going to happen until October, I'm sure there'll be more drama. There's other people we can read, like Nicholas, even though he was denied his last appeal for another trial. I think after some time passes, he can appeal again. And we can do Nicholas in a little while. I really have to prepare if I'm going to do Dee Dee, and I want to do Nicholas's mother as well. I believe she overdosed either intentionally or accidentally. She relapsed. See, there is really, I don't know why. I know this says acceptance. I'm learning to accept the things that I cannot change, but all this does is make me think of AA. And that's where Gypsy needs to go. That's where she belongs at some point. It doesn't have to be alcohol anymore. AA is filled with all different kinds of people who have addictions. Alcohol is usually somewhere in there, but there are plenty of people in meetings that talk about other drugs. Can't name them. It's anonymous, but I'm blessed to be able to say that I am very familiar with AA for quite a few years. I don't even like to really say my sobriety date. It's all about today. So I'm grateful, very grateful that I'm sober today. But you know, I came in when I was very young too. So anyway, so yeah, so that this is just telling me right here that, like, yeah, Gypsy needs to, and also it would do her well to start accepting things as they are and not the way she wants them to be, because that's how she starts fires. That's how she sits around doing those videos where she's ironing and sighing like, well, Ken is off fishing. I mean, my God, give the man a break. Give him a freaking break, Gypsy. You want the family. She says she wants it. You know, the house, the kid, the family, and all that. Does she really? Does she really want that? Does she really want that? Really? Is that what she wants? No. Nope, nope, nope. Not really. That might have been a very nice, there's nothing wrong with wanting that in life. You know, I myself love being a mother. And I mentioned in another one of my videos, my fiance passed away from cancer. And I haven't met anyone yet who could take his place. So, but, you know, I was very happy to just have a quiet life and take care of my family and do my little artsy things and crafting and going to school and, you know, like that, things like that, volunteering. I don't see Gypsy doing those things. I would know. I have done them. And I've never, ever schmurdered anyone, though. You know, allegedly schmurdered anyone ever. So, yes, I might be in recovery, but that was not something in my step work. I might have done some not nice things, but I never physically, you know, injured anyone. It's more of an emotional thing. It's a long time ago. I'm a different person, so it's not about me. It's about Gypsy and Ken, and things are looking up for Ken still. This is good. Actually, I'm getting a lot of stable energy from this ram too, even though ram is the essence of the fire signs. You know, it's like the archetypical fire sign, passion and like going for it, and, you know, get out of my way. I will butt you out of the way if necessary. No, he's gonna do it with grace. He's gonna move out of the situation with grace and start again. He gets a great reset button, and so does she. So does Gypsy by October. And that's a nice age also for Aurora to get away from Gypsy, because she'll be almost 2 at that point by next year. And you know, then that's when children start to become more self-aware and involved and need more attention, as like in speaking with them, playing with them, upping as they get older. I know with my son, you know, when he was an infant and a year old, it was easy for me to go to university and stay all night and lecture and stuff, because I know he's fed and changed, his basic needs are met, and of course I loved him for a whole year before I went back to university. And as soon as I come home from class, I'd go right to him, even if he was sleeping. I gave him extra love when I was with him. And then I noticed as he became a toddler, you know, I didn't have as much time to do my homework or write my papers and things like that, because he required more attention. So, you know, I just got a feeling, so this is not about me, this is about Gypsy. I just got a feeling that that's really going to annoy Gypsy. When Aurora really starts to take on her own personality and can speak for herself and think for herself and start to climb on things, and I think that's around when children really start to branch out and they're about like the air quote terrible twos. I don't really believe in the terrible twos. Never happened to me, but can't speak for myself. I'm talking about my own child, but yeah, Gypsy's not gonna like this at all. And I'm seeing another fire here. I don't know why. I see like a bonfire. Yeah, Gypsy's gonna still be using dark magic by next year. Yeah, she's dancing around a bonfire, doing spells. Yep. Okay, so maybe we want to pray for Aurora. You know, Ken seems to know, like, to get out. But Aurora is the innocent one in this situation. And you know what's really good? That we only have one card with a baby here. And so we don't have to worry about Aurora just yet. And God knows a lot of people are, you know, care about this child. You know, even not Dee Dee, well, yeah, Dee Dee's, you know, Gypsy's mother's family and Ken's family, you know. So she's right now, Aurora's fine. She's okay. She is kind of, you know, being purposely kept out of the spotlight. So she's hiding, kind of. So, all right. The cards are getting all mushy now because I keep repeating myself. I don't know. I find this a fascinating subject. People like Gypsy or what was her name recently, not recently, or like Nicholas, what's his name again? Is it Ruiz? No. Cruz. Is it Nick Cruz? The one who shot up that school down in Florida a few years back? And he wanted the death penalty, and they absolutely would not give it to him. One of the jurors just would not, the juror was completely against the death penalty. And so, Nicholas got life, and people were really upset. And I could read about how, like, Nick Cruz is doing, or his victims' families are doing, or his own family. I believe his adopted mother died. But anyway, I'm getting way off topic now, so I'm gonna shut this reading down. But yeah, if you want me to do any other celebrities, situations, politics, you know, anybody missing that, you know, I could maybe channel their energy and see like what's going on with that situation, like Gabby Petito, I followed that case. I really get into cases. I really care about victims, and Gypsy is a master manipulator. You know, she has many victims. Okay, I'll do this one last time and then I'll go. She has many victims. So she tries to make it look good. Okay, so this is the reading for Ken and Gypsy and what's coming to them. I didn't know until next October, but a whole year. Like, look at the cards at this point now. Like, woo, all mushy energy, you know? It's like, now I mean mushy, like gushy, mushy, sweet. I mean, like, this is kind of messy, you know? So, yeah. So we'll check back on Gypsy and Ken soon. And I will be back to do another reading. Just leave in the comments below your thoughts about Gypsy Rose Blanchard and the people in her life. And if there's anybody else you want me to read about. And if you want a more detailed reading, a personal reading, you can email me. You can find my information in my bio, my channel's bio. And with that said, I hope that you got something out of this reading, and yeah, that you enjoyed the reading, and that if not, I've done a few other videos on Gypsy and the people in her life. And so you can check those out too if this one doesn't interest you. There's others, plus there's many other readers too who've done Gypsy. It's not just me. So okay, with that said, I wish you much love, many blessings, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.